Hello, guys. Welcome to another interview. Today, we
Hello.
the PM recording interview right here with Cila. How are you, Cila?
Don't call me Cila.
Killer.
Damn.
Okay, whatever.
One
Fuck.
way to start.
Uh,
No,
right, Killer.
it's
How are
fine.
you?
I'm Killa. I'm a little bit sick, but I'm good.
Great. Okay. So first of all, cycles, right? You've
Yes,
played some cycles. Which one
I've
was your
played two.
favorite?
Probably Cycle 13, mainly because it was so chaotic. And also I made really good friends in Cycle 13. Well, they were already I had few friends in there already, but
Mm-hmm.
um I kind of got closer with them. And also it was really nice playing with a lot of players that I knew. I knew a good portion of the cast, so I knew it was going to be good. And also my humor was I was able to be fully myself during that cycle. Maybe I was a bit too much at times, but it was a really good cycle for just being chaotic. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
It was serious, but it wasn't like to be taken seriously.
Yes, yes, I totally get that. Would
Yeah, it
you
was
say
great.
your debut was just bad? Would you say your cycle debut was bad, or would you say it was also a fun cycle, just on not on the C13's level?
Cycle 9.
Yeah.
What?
Would you
Oh
say
yeah.
that? Would you say that was also a good cycle, just not on C13's
Cycle 9
as
was
good?
really good, but my end game left a bad taste in my mouth. So that's probably why I wouldn't say it's as good as Cycle 13. I don't think I was as present in Cycle 13. I did get second, which is quite good, but
Yeah.
I didn't really like the way I played. It did kind of give me the kind of title I already have, which is being a social player and enjoying my own game and enjoying making friends during the game. But I didn't feel like I was super connected to the cast. And also in my end game, I kind of made myself look a bit bad. And then Jory got mad at me. So I lost the cycle, which was kind of sad. So yeah,
Yes. Yes.
I would say
Definitely.
Cycle 13, a little bit better.
Now, have you been watching Cycle 14? I would.
Barely. It's been
Okay.
an interesting cycle though. I've
So
been tipping around. I do the little death cards, and whenever I'm researching for them, I learn a bit more about the cycle.
exactly. Now, how would you say um, these steps have affected C15 and its cycle? Would you say it affected a
Um,
lot? Or would you say all of the people that stepped didn't really matter because they were gonna be eliminated anyways?
well, yeah, they were all gonna die eventually. However, I do think it's lowered the quality of the cycle. And I don't know if they realize, but when you step, you have a less likely chance of coming back. So a lot of these rookies who have stepped have now kind of ruined their odds of coming back in later cycles. Also, I think it was the step chain at the beginning that really set the tone for this cycle, as in because so many people stepped at the beginning, players kind of thought it was okay to step after then. So not only has it cut this cycle a little bit shorter, but it's also kind of decreased the quality of play, in my opinion. So yeah, I don't know.
I see. Now, would you say
I'm not a big fan.
these remaining players? Would you say they are less deserving of the end game because so many people stepped?
Absolutely not. These players deserve the end game because it means that one, they haven't stepped. Two, when there has been actual votes, they've stuck around and fought it out. So I would say that these players do deserve their end game. I mean, there's a few that I think are coasting a little bit more than others, but players like Logan, who's been fighting for pretty much the whole cycle, despite saying they wouldn't. And then there's Rec, who's been a bit strange as per usual. Um, Object as well had a few moments of something going on. So I think they do deserve to get up there, because they haven't stepped.
I see, I see. Now, looking at the fact that you make parts of the CM social media, Would you say your experience with the social media is? What how you work? How you work?
As in, do I like the way circle media works?
Yeah. Well, if you were to add something to social media, what would it be?
Well, I would get some of circle media to be a bit more active again because some people aren't pulling their weight the same as others. I won't name names, but I think some of circle media works harder than other bits of circle media. I don't know if I would add much else. Maybe more spec interaction because, like, really, circle media kind of we've got the whole like commentary down, and like interviews and stuff is good. It gives like an idea into the minds of players, but I feel like we don't really interact with the specs that much. Like maybe if we sent out like a spec question every week or something like that, or every few days, that would be nice just to get a bit of engagement with those who aren't playing.
Okay, okay, I see, I see. That's an interesting question.
I haven't really thought too much about it, but since I'm hosting now again in another circle, I've kind of my the cogs in my head have started turning for like a circle kind of way, you know what I mean? Like I'm starting to get back into it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um. Uh. Uh.
Ooh.
Hold on, I think my mind crashed.
That's fine.
Uh.
Did you write down the questions?
Ah, not really. Uh. Hold on, let me
Oh
check
wow,
something.
well done.
Uh. Okay, so in terms of ways of playing the game, what would you say is exactly the best way? Would you say social players have an advantage over technical players, or would you say technical players are a little bit better?
Well, actually, in my opinion, being only one way doesn't work. So you have to be a good mix. Like there has to be a balance between strategy and social. I do think that social players are looked down on a bit too much from my experience. Strategic players love to think that their way is the best way and that's it. However, most strategic players do have a social element with them because if you don't talk to other players and if you don't get engaged with the circle and the cast, they're not going to want to keep you.
Mm-hmm.
But being too social as well puts a target on the back on your back. Like if you get called a social threat, there's pretty much no escape from that unless you're really good at talking your way out. But talking your way out and throwing another person is strategy. So it's finding a healthy balance between both is how you like actually get good and go to the end. Um I don't really have like you kind of have to play your like you have to find out your own play style really. Like I've been playing now for over a year and a half, I think, but I've played over 28 circles or something like that. And so I would say that I lean a bit more on the social side. Most people notice that, I think, but I really need to get better at showing my strategic side in my comps. Normally, I just kind of think and do instead of think, write, and do. But being strategic and being social is the way to go. Don't be one, be both.
I see. Now, do you think the facts that people already know you and know how you usually play, would you say that affects your game negatively?
It has in the past caused a few issues for me. One, it made me start doubting if I was good at circles in general, like at all. Like I tend to do fairly well in a circle. Like let's be real, I'd normally get somewhere in the end game. Um, and so I kind of towards or like recently I started doubting myself if my name was carrying me through. So I played on an alt, which was permitted in another player's circle, and I still got fourth. So I think like I can play without my name, but definitely getting recognized doesn't help because some people are like, oh, but she knows these people, so they're gonna help her, or like she's social, so we can call her a social threat from the beginning, or like, yeah, I got pre-gamed once by Dom. That was sad. Um, yeah, I don't know. Sometimes people love to be like, hey, you do this, so you're gonna continue to do this. And most of the time they're not wrong, but I hate getting called out for it.
I see, I see. Now, would you say that there are instances where some people are just always good and they can't be thrown? Would you say that it kind of depends on everyone's mood? Like, for example, if we were both playing an endgame, right? And I decided to throw someone, would I be able to throw anyone I just wanted and get them eliminated because everyone's so close to each other that it doesn't really matter? Would I be able to do that? Or do you
Um,
think if I don't actually give any reasoning, people will just uh, ditch that throw, even though there are no other better throws?
it really depends on the end game, what players are in the end game, stuff like that. Because usually, even though everyone looks kind of equal, they're not. So if you actually make a decent throw on someone, yeah, they'll get jumped. But if it's like a decent throw on someone who's kind of at the bottom and there's a threat that people would rather vote, normally the threat will get voted. Or also, something that really happens in like endgame is people just vote whoever they want. Like even if you throw someone, they're just gonna vote who they want in their conf. No one's gonna know, and that person gets eliminated. That's kind of how sniping works. It's like everyone sees a common threat, no one says it, but they still vote them. That can happen. So I don't know. End games are tricky. It really depends on the cast, and it also depends on like what the game had been like in general. Because like in C9, we made a pact in the end game, managed to get out Zyre or Zer without trying too hard. Sorry, Big Z, I still say your name wrong. Then we kind of got out the other two, even though we were all somewhat equal. And snoozing had actually been kind of in inac and under the radar. He still managed to get to F2 because of the pact. And then in like C13, voting towards the end was getting really dodgy. Throws were really hard to make. They were really long. Red door, the going to the red room kind of threw everyone for a loop as well because you could escape.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, it really depends.
I see, I see. Now, would you say um, a longer throw could influence negatively or positively the throw? The fact that it's big.
Well, like that also depends on what way the players are. Personally, I like a short, concise throw. Normally, I skim read throws, and if I see a point I like, I'll go look at that and I'll be like, yeah or no. C13, we got essay throws, so that was interesting. I think throws in the actual circle, like the circle, the server, have gotten really long, kind of boring. Need to get them choppier. Someone who I really respect for good, short, straight to the point throws is Resell.
Mm-hmm.
That man throws someone with an absolute punch in one paragraph. Done and dusted. Even in C13 when people were doing like these massive throws, Resell still kept to the one paragraph throw, punch you in the throat, you were dead. Too bad.
Would you say the game evolved in a negative way? Say the game has gone
Um,
less.
Personally, I think it is getting a bit too competitive. I think people forget that we're playing like a silly online game. Like, one, it's a game. People constantly forget it's a game. There is no prize at the end, so I don't know why people are so
It's
stressed.
the little shiny robe.
People are,
It's doing shiny robe. That's the price.
yeah, but in a lot of circles, it's getting too competitive. But this one in particular, this is probably where I see the highest kind of competitivity, but it's also getting a little bit toxic. People are getting too personal, and I'm just not a fan of that. Like, there's too many like personal arguments. Like, it's all well and dandy getting to know each other, stuff like that. Or also the fact that people are starting to make alts to cheat on circles is so bizarre to me. Like, just it's not that big of a deal. Just play the game. If you're bad at it, get better. Like, it's not that hard. Um, I just don't think that it should be this cutthroat. Like, I don't know, I've played a few circles recently where they haven't been so cutthroat and it's kind of like chill, and I'm more into that. Like, I do love a good competitive circle every now and again, but not to the point where it's starting to make me upset or really angry. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So I feel like we have gone down a slippery slope of crossing the line here and
so
there. Like, things are just getting a bit too intense.
how would you fix this? If you were a host, you could change things. How would you fix it?
Well, as a host, I have made really goofy circles before. So I do own my own server where I hosted 2 seasons um, of a circle. The second one was kind of bad, not gonna lie. So season 2, we don't talk about her. Season 1, I think someone mentioned it recently. I think it was Battle said that they played my circle for the first time for their first circle, like.
Mhm.
And what I did was just loads of twists, uh, putting people in groups and then changing the groups constantly, stuff like that, making sure there was always like a flow and it couldn't get too serious. Like, making sure everyone knew I was being lighthearted so they could be lighthearted. Do you know what I mean? Just keeping the vibe good.
Would you say that approach, if that approach were implemented in this circle, do you think it could work? Do you think it could be as
I
effective?
mean, to be honest, I don't know. I think more that at this point, people just know that this circle is competitive. So they go in with the mindset of this circle is going to be competitive, so I can be competitive here. I think more there should be probably more warnings going out in confessionals that if people are being too mean spirited, that they should shut up.
I see. But
That's what I
do you
think.
think that should be enforced? Do you think um, the host should enforce people to not be so mean? Or do you think it should be just a warning?
I think it should be a warning. Like, I think that, like, and then if you get too bad, like if you get too heated, get timed out for 10 minutes. I don't know. Something simple. Like, just like a little slap on the wrist that says, hey, don't be horrible to someone for no reason on the internet. Instead, take a chill pill for 5 minutes, come back when you have a clear head, and talk about this again. It's not a life or death situation. It's an online circle.
I see.
That's why. Yeah.
Okay, would you say why exactly do you say the circle is competitive? Is it because of the amount of messages sent? Because of the toxicity?
Well, I, to be honest, I really don't know. I think it's because, so like, this server is quite quality.
Uh-huh.
Like, the hosting's quite good, the twists are always good. Interest kind of came to the server quickly, and then like bit by bit, the seasons have been getting more active. So I think it's more that in general the way circles are going is more engagement from the players. So like, players are coming to this one with the expectation of this one's going to be high engagement. I need to meet that criteria. I think C13 might have slightly broken the server further because it was an all-star season and all of us are super competitive.
Mm-hmm.
We really wanted to win and beat our fellow all-stars, and so then message count kind of went really high, and now the other seasons are kind of matching
So would
that
you
a little
say
bit.
season 13
Like, you,
influenced all the next seasons?
I think a little bit, yeah. I think it's more that C13 kind of, because it was such a special cycle, like having players who have already done well in previous seasons all grouped together and specifically telling them that they're all stars. messes with them a little bit. So we were all like under the impression that we had to be better than we were before. So that made everyone super engaged. And I think that does make the other seasons go, oh, this is the standard now. Now we have to meet this. We have to be this active. We have to like push this hard. Um, which I don't necessarily think is true. I don't think it has to be that active. I don't think it has to be like massive throws and stuff like that. But I do think little habits have been picked up from C13 and brought into the later seasons.
I see. I see. Would you say? Would you say the influx of rookies has plummeted? You say it's going down. Would you say it's being stable?
Well, no, I think there's a good few rookies in C15, isn't there?
Yes.
And C14 also had a good few rookies. Actually, wasn't majority of C15 rookies?
I'm not sure. C14 was.
I swear there's a good few people I don't recognize anyway in C15. Like a good like a good load of them. I don't know. So I'd say the rookie to alum or rookie to like past player ratio isn't actually too bad. Like I just think that rookies aren't figuring out the game the way they should be. They want to play it their way, and then they just don't realize that they're gonna die because of that. Like some of them learn, some of them don't. Like it's just kind of you either get it or you don't. I think if they try again a few times, they'll probably get it, but there is like circle politics and stuff like that. So they kind of have to get used to
What
that.
do you mean
Like
circle
recently I was in a
politics?
circle
What do you mean by that?
like not not constantly referring to message count or like no pre-gaming, no metagaming.
Oh, I see. I see.
Like the way throws are done, you actually have to throw someone with like reasoning and stuff like that. You can't just be like, "Hey, what about this person?" You have to actually like say why you think that. And also like just some things don't like you don't make a message count list, things like that.
Okay, final question. Would you say how big of a role does time zones have in this game?
Very controversial question, which I've had many arguments about with people. A lot of people love to say that it doesn't have an effect. I think that's very wrong. I think whatever, it's normally an American time zone that has the advantage, mainly because that's when Zap is, and like that's when a lot of players are active because a lot of players in circles are from America. So normally EST is kind of the superior time zone. I'd say GMT is bad, but it's not as bad as some of the Asian time zones. Some of them, they are absolutely screwed over by their time zone. I feel so bad for people who aren't from Europe and have to play with Americans. Like people from Europe do have a disadvantage because they can't be awake as long as the Americans, or they sleep while Americans are on late. You know what I mean? So because we're all chronically online people, we all have messed up sleep schedules. But because if we have a messed up sleep schedule, we only make it so far into the Americans' messed up sleep schedule, and then the Americans go on while we sleep until the morning. So I don't know. I think being European and Asian does have its disadvantages. I haven't really met many Australians, so I don't know if they have a disadvantage. I'd say they do, but yeah, from the Asian players I've met and the European players I've met, we defo agree we have a disadvantage compared to the vast majority of Americans. Also, on top of that, you can actually see that the more successful European players are the ones that break themselves for circles. So, like Rec, you'd swear he was EST, or like me, for example, in C13. I like got 5 hours of sleep most days because I would go to bed at like 3 or 4 in the morning, and then I would wake up at 8 or 9 the next day and get on the grind again. So yeah, I think there's a disadvantage with time zone differences.
Okay. Well, that's all. Do you have anything you want to say to our listeners?
Everyone should take it easy and just enjoy circles. I think it's best if you enjoy it. It's a fun little game. I also recommend circles to anyone who hasn't played them. They're kind of fun and an easy way to make friends. You really get to know the people because you're kind of stuck chatting to them every day. As well, one day I will make season 3 of the Troublesome Circle. Might have to get more hosts for that, but I will make a season 3. It'll just take me ages because I'm too lazy to actually kickstart it, and I also am always busy because I'm always working. Let's go.
All right. Do invite me for that if it ever happens.
Will do, will do, will do. Everyone needs to come play. I'll make it a bigger season than season 2. First season was very successful. Second season was dog shit, but that was my fault. I made a bad twist and I did not execute it well. I think season 3 will be like season 1, which was really good and very entertaining. Also, for all my Cila fans out there, I know there's none of you. Love you all. Anyone who's and also, guys, if you want to put down things about or if anyone wants a death card after this season that you didn't get one, I might make special death cards. So let me know. Write down in the comments below what your favorite interview moment was.
All right. Goodbye. Bye.
Thank you.